All right, everyone, we're ready for part 2 or assignment 2 of your scenario here. We have created our folder and now we're back into our assignments in this Google Slides. We're going to go to the green slide now. This is assignment 2, Google Docs creation, manipulation, and sharing. And if you want the written instructions open, you can click this little link right here and that'll open that up. If you want the video instructions, they will be located right here. You can click on that and there'll be a nice YouTube video instruction for you. All right. We're ready to get going. I've moved my instructions over to here. We're going to start making our document. The first thing I want you to do, when you're looking at them here, before we even create our doc, there's 2 ways that we want to do this, or you could do this. Up here at the new, we could do it right now, and we could go to Google Docs. You can go over to this arrow, and you could do a blank template or a blank document, or you could do it from a template. They have a bunch of templates out there. We're not using any templates today. We're going to do a blank document, but I don't want you to do it yet. I know that might have been a little premature, but I just wanted to show you that this is an option here. But what I'd like you to do before you do all that, I'd like you to open your folder. Open this folder that you've created, and then go to New, and go to create your document. Sorry, that went a little quick. Let me do that again so you can see it. New, Docs, blank document. It'll ask you to create and share over here, and you want to hit create and share because that's automatically going to share your document with me because this folder is shared with me, and that's going to make everything that you do even easier. So every time you go to create something new for my class, hit the create and share button so you can start at the starting point with it already being put into your folder. In order for you to be able to see it in your folder, you have to actually type something on the document first or rename the document. So let's go ahead and name this document. You'll notice over here it says assignment 2, docs creation, manipulation, and sharing. Well, let's call it that. Let's just call it assignment 2. And you can get rid of everything else. This document stuff back here we don't need. And we'll just leave it at that. And that way I'll know, excuse me, my nose itched, which assignment is assignment 2. Okay? So after you hit enter, you should see a little folder show up, and then we'll start creating some things. To see the folder show up, what I'd like you to do, or to see the file show up in the folder, go up here to this tab where you already have your folder open, and you should see it popped up right there, and lo and behold, it renamed itself as well. Alright, so we're good to go. So going back up to the top, let's go back to assignment 2, and let's get started. Okay, we're ready for the next steps. We have done the initial creation. We're ready to copy and paste text and images. So what I'd like you to do is go find an article and an image, something relative to what you're going to teach, related to the folder that you've created, like mine's teaching as a career. So I'm going to go find a little article that I can copy and paste some text in, and I'm also going to find a picture that might go with it. And I'm going to paste those in, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about manipulating it and doing some things with that text. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible where we can not have to retype a bunch of stuff. We can just use what's already been made, and we can also learn how to copy and paste and those kinds of things. So when you copy and paste some information, please know that you're going to do one of 3 things. You're going to right click, or you're going to select the information, you're going to right click, and then you're going to copy it if the drop down menu shows up. You could also use Command C if you're on a Mac, or Control C if you're on a PC, and those things will copy your selection. And then when you bring them back in here, you're going to do Control V, and that will paste it into here. Now, sometimes your students are going to want to right click if they're using like a Chromebook, and I have Chromebooks in my classroom, and it won't let them because Chromebooks, for whatever reason, don't allow you to right click and paste. So what we often have to do is I have to teach them to do Control V to paste it in. Control C, Control V, because a lot of times the copy and paste feature with a right click doesn't really work for us. I don't know if that's the same in your experience, but at our schools that's how we overcome that. So I'm going to give you a moment, I'm going to pause. Please go find something that is text related and something that is a picture, and copy and paste those in here and show me you can do it. Alright, I went out and found some text and a picture right here, and I just pasted this in based on my teaching as a career class that I'm teaching. They have this quiz setting up for your classroom success that I found on a website through Edutopia. And I'm going to use this to show you how to manipulate text. The first thing, a very simple thing, is changing the font color. It's up here, it's the little A. So if I wanted to change my title here to a different color, you click the A right here and you select whatever color you want. I'm going with blue, That's our school colors. I figure I'll just stick with that. All right, that's one simple way. Show me you can do that. The other thing you can do, there's a few other options here where you can bold, italicize, underline. Those are all right next to each other. Well, if you want to prove your confidence, let's make it easy. Let's bold, italicize, and underline that thing and make it all one thing at once. That's quick and easy, and it gets it done for you. The next thing, a list using numbers or bullets, your choice. So let's come down here, and maybe we want to just bullet these two paragraphs. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go over here. My bulleted list is right here. My numbered list is over here. I'm going to keep it simple and do bullets. And you'll notice for every time they hit enter, those bullets occur. If you wanted a subset of information, if you tab in, it'll create a subset for you, and it'll create a little smaller bullet. If you didn't like it and you wanted to send it back, you could hold Shift and Tab, and it would send it back. So that's bullets in a nutshell. That's pretty easy to do. All right, as we keep going down, if you want to insert an image and maybe it didn't come off of a website, like I was able to just go to the website and copy this image on in here, you can also go to Insert Image right here, and then you could have found it the same way. You can search from the web, maybe you want to pull it from Drive, Photos, by URL because you found a link, or you could take a picture with your camera right now. What I would like you to do is put one of those in. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Photos, and then I'm going to go find a picture real quick. They'll populate over here, and then I'll plug it in. Okay, so I'm going to pause and find a picture, and then I'll come right back. All right, I found a perfect picture right here. I was in an elementary school classroom the other day. I'm going to insert that picture in here. And there we go. We have our picture all signed up. We were doing a little song and dance there to kind of go along with this. And it ended up replacing the previous picture I had, which I'm completely fine with because that makes us more unique. So there's that. Next thing you want to insert or put in your table, and again, these can be anything from anywhere that you want. You can insert a table. Going back up to insert, the table is the next option right below image. You select the size of table, and what I would recommend doing for this is just putting your hours and the classes that you teach. So maybe you put, first hour, and for me that's personal finance. And that could be all you could put in your table. You could put the time over here, 7:35 to 8:29. And just to show me you know how to use a table and you know how to insert it. To move between these, you can click in them. You can also tab, and that'll move you from box to box or cell to cell, however you want to say that. But that's inserting a table. The next thing, and I'm going to go underneath for this next one, inserting a chart. All right, you can say bar, column, line, pie. I really just want to know if you can insert the chart. As far as making one that has any sense, I'm not too concerned with it right now, so I'm going to insert the chart here, and it really doesn't mean anything to anybody. However, if you want to manipulate the data, you can come to this little option right here, and you can go to linked objects, or you can open source, and you can manipulate the data and change it to mean whatever you want it to mean. And when you change that, as it's working, when you change that, it'll change the chart over here. So when you insert charts in Google, there's usually a data place where you can. Our next step is going to be to make a Google drawing or insert a Google drawing if we're going down the list here. And to do that, we're going to go to Insert, and we're going to go to Drawing, and we're going to click New. Alright, there's all kinds of options you have here. This is the easiest way to add word art like you're used to in Word. You can also do a few other things as far as adding pictures and scribbling on the pictures. What I'd like to do is just insert a text box here for you. So we're going to get a certain kind of text, and we're going to draw that text in here. And then let's put the title of your class. Mine is Teaching as a Career. And then let's select a cool font. Let's get something really neat in there, like Cherry Cream Soda. Oops, I need to select my stuff. Cherry Cream Soda. We can make it huge, like 24. That's not huge. Let's go 60. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. And we'll stretch it out so it's really big. You can grab the edge and make it big. Let's color it up too. Let's go over here to the colors. You can do a custom color as well. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep with my blue theme. And if you really want to mess with the alignment of it, you can do center, and you can center it vertically as well as it sits in this word art style text box. And then when you hit save and close, it's going to show up here, but it's going to show up more like an image rather than just your basic old text that's typed up here. You can move it around. You can wrap text, you can break text, and it'll go anywhere. You can put it just about anywhere in the middle of stuff, and it'll break through other things. But for all intents and purposes, I would just keep it below. Just know that when you hit break text, it'll break up some of the text, and you can move it in and out of different places. Okay, so that's Google Drawing. You could have manipulated a picture and all that too. I'm just going to keep it simple and do this for now. And that's all you need to do as well. So you'll see in my example over here, it has business law. That was one I used previously. I'm using teaching as a career this time. The next step is adding a link. Links are really easy. I love this about Google. So let's say you had a document that you wanted to include in here, and you created it in Docs somewhere else. To simply add a link, I would type the title first. Typing the title is much easier. When I pasted this stuff in, this quiz, Setting Up Your Classroom for Success, there was a link to allow you to get to the article. So I'm actually going to put that in there. And I'm going to type article link. And then I'm going to go to the website where I found it, right here. And I'm going to go up to the top. And I'm going to select that link. I'm going to Command-C to copy it. I'm going to come back to my document. And for my students in my Teaching as a Career class, I'm going to want them to be able to take this. So I'm going to paste it in there as a link. This is one way you can paste it in. Okay, and you can go to the little pencil here and you can edit it. It kind of looks like chaos on the page, if you will, in that form. So I'd like to rename it just as Education Quiz. And there you go. You have the link and it looks nice and neat as opposed to just all that crazy lettering on the page that is the link. And it's pretty accessible. One other way to do that, if you want to, it's totally up to you how you do this. You can select information that you've already typed. I don't really want that. I guess it's not selecting that, it's just overshadowing it. We're selecting article link here, and if you go up to your toolbar, there's an insert link option, and then you can just paste that link in there. Again, it's the same link I just did. You hit apply, and then that's already changed. So it just depends on which you want to do first. Do you want to type the title and then plug the link in, or do you want to just plug the link in and rename the link? It's kind of your choice, but please find a link that's appropriate for you and put that in there and rename it to mean something, not just be a random link that has a bunch of extra stuff with it. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is headers and footers. All right, the next thing we're going to tackle is headers and footers. Up here at the top, it's at insert again. And you'll notice it just says header and page number, but if you use the line, it's going to tell you more. You got a footer option, you got page number, page count. I don't care which one you choose. I'm going to choose header. You don't have to do both, just one. And in the header over here, I want to right align it. So I'm going to come up to the top. I'm going to select my line options here, like this is left align, center, right, and then this is justified. I'm going to select right because I want it to be on that side of the page, the right side of the page. And what I'd like you to put is the word revised, and then I want you to put the month and the year to show that this was revised on September 7th, 2019. All right, so this is very current. This is exactly what I wanted for you guys. And this is going to tell me when the last time I revised it, so when I come in here to make my next set of updates, voila, there it's going to be, and I can update the revision. That's just one way to show you how to do the header and footer. Those of you who are English teachers, this will be pretty important for you, I'm sure. So we're going to continue on with that, and we're going to give you some MLA style options in the next series. Okay, so we're ready for the MLA style options. There's a scenario here. I don't have two options anymore. They deleted one of them, so I'm going to get rid of option 2. And we're simply going to use MLA Formatter as our only option at this point. It is an add-on. If you can get this add-on to work, I've had some issues in the past, not necessarily with this add-on yet, but other add-ons have expired or they've become websites or web opportunities, Web 2.0 tools instead of add-ons. So if you're having trouble with this, don't sweat it or don't freak out. Just come email me and talk to me about it, and we'll find you another option to be able to do MLA formatting without having to do too much, okay? I like to try and make this as easy as possible. In fact, I have learned over the last semester, like the end of May, before we started teaching this class in the summer, that there's a document or a template out there in Docs that allows you to start in an MLA formatting, and it's pretty easy. But I'm going to show you the add-on today because I like this. It's a nice and easy way to just click on an option after you've made it, and it sets it up for you, and it's all easy to go. So let's show you how to do that. In our document here, we're going to add an add-on, so to speak, because you may not have it. So to do that, up here is add-ons, and you go to get add-ons. And once that shows up, in the search add-ons, you're going to type in MLA Formatter and hit enter. And this is what it should look like. This was the other one I've used in the past, although I've had people say it doesn't work for them and it doesn't show up. Now, I've had it since the beginning of when it was available, so I still have it, but this one I've had more success with lately. So if you want to, it should have a plus free, kind of like this one does. Just click on that. It'll ask you for some permissions to allow it to be able to use it. Go ahead and select those and get yourself back into it. Once you've accepted it and it's loaded, you can close this screen, or sometimes it closes on its own because you went through the process. You go back to add-ons, and then MLA Formatter will show up as one of your options here. So I want you to go to MLA Formatter after that. You're going to click this arrow, go on over here to open MLA Formatter. Once it's open, you're going to have your option to put your first name, last name, and then you can hit save if you want that to save there. And the next thing you're going to do, I already have a template created, but I don't want to use that today. I want to show you how to create a new one. So we're going to hit create new, hit your little plus symbol, maybe. There we go. And once you type it in, we're going to give this template a title. So whatever the title is for, like it's for an English class, or I'm going to do history class this time since I already have an English one. And then the teacher, I'm going to say Mr. Caldwell. And the class title, U.S. History. All right, and so once you hit create there, it's going to give this nice template for you, and then it won't add it to your document yet. Like if you scroll to the top, you don't see it, but if you click on it, it should add the heading right here for you. And then assignment 2, classroom success, is already automatically plugged in because that's the title up here. If you want to change that, you're more than welcome to, but it does format the beginning of your MLA heading right there for you. So that gets your MLA formatting off to a good start. That's one way to do that. So as we scroll on down through our instructions, the other part of this MLA scenario was the EasyBib Works Cited Creator. There's two ways to do this. There's an add-on with EasyBib, and it's right here. Now the challenge with this is, again, this is another one of those add-ons. We can go look and see if it's in there, and sure enough, it's right there. If you click on that, you should be able to add it right there as a free option. If you don't see it, you can type in EasyBib and hit enter, and it should show up like this, and then you can add it plus free. And then if you do that, it'll add it plus like you did the last add-on, and then you go back to EasyBib, you open it like I just did, and I have a dialog box over here to the side. Okay. Once you've done that, you can just enter the title of your resource. So what I'd like you to do is just either a relevant resource or something that you know that is an actual book or article or whatever the case may be. Plug it in there and see if you can get it to work. It's a 50-50 chance on some resources. Some come through really cleanly, and then some you have to really search for. So I'm going to do the Energy Bus by John Gordon. I'm just going to search out the Energy Bus and see if I can find it. And let's see, can we find it? There we go. Yep, it's the Energy Bus 10 Rules to, yep. I'm going to use that one. I'm going to hit select. And so it's going to add that to my bibliography right here, but then that hasn't been added to my doc yet. That's why it has in red here, add bibliography to doc. So once you've added that, I only need to see one, I don't need to see a bunch. You hit add to doc, and at the bottom, a separate bibliography page, or a separate bibliography is pasted down here at the bottom about a quadruple space from whatever your last piece was. So there it is. It does a pretty nice job putting, and you can pick the different styles and formats if you want. Like that was MLA 8th edition. You've got some APA, some Chicago, and a few other options if you really, really want to choose a different option, okay? But just one-sided source, and again, it can be about anything. I just want to see if you can get this app to work to make your life easier when you actually have to apply it, or when you want your students to apply it. So let's say you couldn't get the add-on. I gave you a couple other options here. There's Citation Machine and there's bibme.org. These websites can be functional. Sometimes they're going to ask you to fill out a survey to finish your website or before they can cite your source. It does run you through a similar situation here. It'll ask you a few more questions, and then it'll give you the option to copy. It'll say like copy to clipboard, and then you can Command V, Control V, or right click and paste whatever it is that you cited back into your document, just like this one here. Okay, so we've manipulated a lot of the documents on the front of the page, so to speak. We've changed things here, but the next step is to change some of the exterior portions of the page, like page setup and changing the orientation. So we're going to show you that next. And in order to do that, you're going to go to File, you're going to go to Page Setup here, and you've got Portrait, you've got Landscape. You can change the paper size if you want it to be different. The margins are over here for some of those specialized documents that you need to change the margins for. And then for some of you who like to add a little flair to your page, you can change the color as well. Now, what I'd like to see you do, basically you just have to look and see this. It does say over here in the instructions, set your right and left margins to 1.5. So I would like to see you to do that. Just come over here and type in 1.5 and 1.5. Just so I know you were in here, and that'll tell me that, hey, yeah, you did go in and change the margins. And you can change your orientation to landscape if you want to. That'll rotate your page horizontally. You don't have to leave it that way. You can leave it as portrait either way, but you might test that out just to see what it looks like to get familiar with it. So this is what I want you to do at minimum, is change these to 1.5 and then hit OK. And you'll see that the margin increases on each side. And my picture here got kind of funky. If you break text, you can move that around however you want, kind of like so. Okay, just to give you an idea of how that works. All right, the next step, if you give your kids a document that you want them to be able to manipulate, however you want your own copy. You want a copy that you don't want them to manipulate, but you want them to be able to use a similar version of yours. You can go to File and make a copy, and then you can just rename it a student version. So for this particular assignment, I don't want you to call it copy of. I know it says name the document copy assignment 2, but let's go ahead and name it student version or student assignment 2, and make a copy, and you're going to share it with the same people and hit OK. And so you're going to have a second document as soon as it loads here that looks just like the other one, but now maybe it has some open spots or open spaces where the students have to answer a question or fill some things in or include some stuff. I like to do what is called a Cliff Note, Wiki Note type scenario, where I give them a sample page and then they have to add to it as we talk about it. And it makes it a little more engaging, a little more fun for them and me, because we can have open discussions. They can plug their own versions of stuff in there. So that's the copy. If you had them put it in the same folder, if you go to look in your folder, you should see both assignments in there. All right. If you shared with the same group and you had to put it in the same place, there it goes. So I already closed it because I only want to work in the one I'm currently working in. I just wanted you to show me that you can make a copy of it. The next thing, in some instances, you've made a document and maybe they want a different format, like the place that wants to see what you've made wants a different format. For example, Friends University likes my syllabus in a PDF form when they have it on file. So if you go to File and you go to Download, there's a Download As option over here, and you can download it as a variety of different things. And PDF is the one I want you to select for this particular class. It says over here you can do Microsoft Word as well. That's fine. I just want to see a different version, either PDF or Microsoft Word, of this document. put in your folder. So I'm going to download this as a PDF. And it should show up here in a minute. And it likely, my downloads show up at the bottom of the page. And so I have an assignment 2 PDF showing up at the bottom of my page, and it'll be hidden in my downloads. And it's not going to show up in your folder. All right, it's not just going to magically appear here because it's actually been put on your computer. So in order to get it to show up in your folder with the folder open, it should have been a tab up here that was already open. You're going to go to New, and you're going to go to File, Upload. So after I hit File, Upload, I went and searched my file out, and after a considerable amount of searching, which is abnormal, I was able to find my PDF that I made, Assignment 2, Classroom Success. I will select that, and I will come down to the bottom right. I want you to be able to see this. I'm going to drag this. Well, I can't drag it over. You should in the bottom right see Open. Click Open, and you should see it uploading there, and eventually you will see it upload into this folder because that's the folder that is open when we hit Upload. So there it is, Assignment 2, Classroom Success. So now I have a student version, I have my original version that I created, and then I also now have a PDF of this same file. That basically why you would make a PDF is so someone couldn't manipulate it. It's just a piece of information you want to share that stays consistent and doesn't get changed for any reason. That's why I make PDFs. So that's one way. That's another way to just create a different style of file. And so it's that simple. The last thing, the finishing touches on this particular assignment, we have the revision history that I want to show you. So I'm going to go back to my document. Up here at the top it says all changes saved in Drive. This is really crucial, not just for you in case there's a version that you want to go back to. You can show only named versions if you name your versions. You can show all kinds of changes here. If I click on this, I can name it, or I can make a copy of that version. I'm not going to do that right now, and I'm not going to ask you to do it. I just want you to be able to see this scenario. One of the things that I also want you to consider, if you're having your students work on a document and they share it with you, this is one way to check to see who worked on it, because it will plug in who did what at what time. And it'll be much more detailed when you have multiple people working on it. When it's just me and I'm the only one typing, well, it stays pretty stagnant and pretty basic. So it's probably just going to be you doing it. So that's revision history. You can come in here and check, and it's an easy way to grade kids if you're doing a cooperative project with this type of stuff. That's one thing I wanted to show you. The last thing I want to show you is sharing this document. But before we share this document, we're going to create another one. Okay? Theoretically, you have already shared it with me because it's in the folder you have shared with me. So I can already see these. But we're going to create a document called A Weapon of Mass Education in our next assignment. And so that concludes this video, and we'll make that. But I want you to leave this open because this is going to be the first link we put in there. Alright, thank you for your time. I apologize this video is so long. There's so much information in here, and I wanted to make sure you got it. I may have hit a new record at 28 minutes here. So I'll do my best to make the next one incredibly short to overcompensate. Thank you for your time, and we will see you in the next video.